won't compromise or settle. I'm the one behind the wheel of my life, I won't put on the gas pedal. And I push it down to the metal, till I'm on a whole new level. For personal growth, marketing, branding, and spirituality will help you turn your dreams to reality. Whatever goals you got in mind will help you reach them uncompromised. Cause we are the Uncompromised Podcast with your host, Adam Wells. So let's start the show.
Welcome to another episode of the Uncompromised Podcast. My question for you today is, how often do you find yourself in the proverbial weeds as an entrepreneur? You know what I'm talking about. It's those times when you're operating outside of your zone of genius. You could just feel it in your gut, right? You're working on things in your business that you shouldn't be doing, things that are keeping you bogged down, stifling your progress and your growth and just keeping you stagnant, right? Keeping you from working on the business instead of, instead you're in the business, right? So you're working in the business instead of on the business like you should be. It's different for every entrepreneur. For some, you guys feel stuck managing social media, running marketing campaigns, testing out sales funnels. And for others, maybe it's account management and managing the customer relationship. Either way, you know it's really not your strength. But at the same time, you don't know who else would do it. Maybe you think nobody can do it as good as you can. I've been guilty of that myself. Maybe the idea of investing your hard-earned capital to pay someone else to do it and risking the possibility that it could backfire and go terribly wrong is just too scary. You have a vision for where you want your company to go and where it can get to, but you just can't seem to get there because wearing so many hats is taking up all of your time and depleting all of your energy. All right, enough agitating the pain point. You get the point I'm trying to make. So what's the solution? I've heard all kinds of ideas on this personally, and I've received all kinds of advice. Some of it has been helpful, and if I'm honest, most of it has been not so helpful. Most of it has been very unhelpful. Often the people around you, they're going to try to present you with blanket one-size-fits-all solutions that just aren't realistic for your specific circumstances, right? People just think like there's this one way of doing things that should apply to everybody. Maybe it's hire this person over here or outsource this certain thing over there, and with specificity about what those things should be. Or maybe it's like, hey, just stop doing this thing altogether. You don't need to do that, right? But that approach doesn't work for every single business. Guys, I've struggled with this exact same thing in my own business. In fact, it's something I've been struggling a lot with over the last year, and I'll just say the last 2 years as we've grown tremendously. If I'm fully transparent and honest with you, I'm going to tell you that there's still areas where I'm struggling with this problem right now, today. Being stuck in the weeds and doing things in my business that are keeping me from growing. It's a work in progress all of the time. But recently I had this idea. Okay. I had something come to mind for me that really put this all into perspective, and I wanted to share it with you guys today in this episode. It's really a new framework, if you will, for how to look at this problem and attack it, and how to make good and wise decisions on the things that you spend your time on. And so that's to recognize that tactics matter only when strategy fails. Let me say that again. Tactics only matter when strategy fails. This idea actually came from a memory of mine from about 14 years ago. I was working for the sheriff's office at the time, and I had recently transferred out of the jail to work on patrol. My phase 1 field training officer, shout out to Mark Johnson. Shout out to Mark Johnson. He used to have me do visualization exercises on my way to a call for service. So he would ask me, Adam, what's your strategy going to be when we arrive on scene? And I'd respond with, some sort of a thought that usually would be my best approach that I could come up with given the circumstances. Almost immediately after I'd finished explaining to him what strategy I thought I would employ, he would respond with, and when that fails, what tactics are you going to resort to? He'd encourage me to actually picture the incident in my mind and how the whole thing would unfold, because visualization actually creates muscle memory. Some of you maybe know this, maybe others don't, but it's actually really a cool phenomenon that when we visualize a thing happening to us and how we would respond to it, it actually creates a very similar muscle memory response as though we trained physically on that exact thing, which means that when that thing actually happens, you're a lot more likely to take action the way that you envisioned it, to have a successful resolution with very little deliberate thought required. So the lesson in those exercises that he would always remind me of, again, would be, and he drilled this into me, was that tactics only matter when strategy fails. Okay, so you might be asking yourself right now, how does this apply to you and I as an entrepreneur who is struggling to stay out of the weeds in your business? Well, it means that if you're spending all of your time executing on things in your business that would be defined as tactics, then you've already failed. Let that sink in for a second. I'm going to say it again. If you spend all of your time executing on things in your business that would be defined as tactics, you've already failed. Your role as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a CEO, or whatever title you give yourself as the captain of the ship, is higher level thinking, visionary thinking, strategy, not tactics. You are the one who needs to be setting the strategy and direction of your company. You need to be finding the right people, either full-time, part-time, or fractional, that can implement those strategies and tactics on their own or with very minimal guidance from you. This isn't a call to just go hire everyone you think you may need. Okay, that's not what I'm telling you should do. But it's definitely a call to invest in yourself. Invest in learning how to identify what areas of your business need help, and then learning how to find the right people for those roles and positions. It's also a call to action to get out of your comfort zone and take control of your business by letting go of all those mundane tasks that keep you stuck in the weeds because they aren't serving you a good purpose. The way to level up is actually to put in the effort. There's no shortcuts in this, guys. I'm sure you can agree with me that being stuck in the weeds isn't where anyone wants to be. So let's get out and stay out of the weeds. Let's stay focused on the overall strategy of our business, continue investing in ourselves, and hire or outsource the tactics. That way, we can truly become uncompromised entrepreneurs and business leaders. It doesn't matter if you're a startup or an established business. It all comes down to having qualified individuals around you who understand your business strategy and how those strategies are implemented into the actual tangible results for your company that you're trying to achieve. And sometimes that just means investing in the right people. When it comes to tactics that can be hired or outsourced, there are plenty of examples to choose from. For instance, let's talk about social media, maybe search engine optimization, website development, graphic design. Those are all things that can be delegated to other qualified individuals or agencies. One key tip to finding the right people for those roles is to have a clear understanding of what you need from them and what you need them to do. This means having a deep knowledge of your business goals and how these tasks relate to them. Once you have a clear understanding of what you need, it's important to take the time to research potential candidates or agencies that might be able to fulfill on that for you. Look for individuals or companies that have a track record of success in the area that you need to help them with, or that you need help with, excuse me. At higher levels of business, it sometimes becomes necessary, though, to hire or outsource the strategy as well. A relatively new trend over the last couple of years is the role of the fractional chief marketing officer. Fractional CMOs are experts in the fields of marketing and branding, customer experience, and things of that nature, who can provide high-level business guidance to help guide your company's marketing efforts in the right direction. Most fractional CMOs operate within a niche industry that they can bring an abundance of value to. I, for example, offer a fractional CMO service to companies specifically in the public safety, private investigations, and security contractor industries. So if that's you, go ahead and shoot me a message. But guys, in conclusion, Staying out of the weeds as an entrepreneur or a business owner means focusing on strategy and delegating tactics to the right people. By identifying the areas of your business that need help and finding qualified individuals or agencies, you can free up your time and energy to focus on the bigger picture. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. Until next time, be uncompromised.